2018, a painting sold at Christie's for $430,500. Nothing unusual about that, except the artist had no hands, no eyes, no heartbeat. The piece, a blurry, slightly unsettling portrait called Edmond de Bellamy, was made entirely by an algorithm, and the art world didn't quite know what to do with that. That moment didn't answer any questions. It just opened a giant, messy can of them. And those questions? We're still arguing about them right now. So let's actually dig into this. Can a machine create something genuinely original, or is it always just a very expensive copy machine wearing a beret? Here's what's happened since that Christie's sale. The technology didn't slow down. It absolutely exploded. We went from basic GANs, where two AI programs compete to generate and judge images, to diffusion models like Midjourney and DALL-E. These systems can now produce images so convincing and detailed that trained artists sometimes can't tell whether a human made them. Midjourney alone had nearly 20 million users as of January 2026 and generated $500 million in revenue in 2025. That's with a team of just about 40 people. That's not a niche experiment anymore. That's a cultural shift. And this isn't the first time a new tool made everyone panic. When photography was invented in the 1830s, painters went into full crisis mode. If a machine can capture reality perfectly, what's the point of painting? What happened instead? Painting got weird and wonderful. Impressionism, Cubism, Surrealism, movements that never would have existed without the pressure photography created. New tools don't kill art, they push it somewhere unexpected. AI might be doing the same thing right now, but the question is sharper this time, because the tool isn't just capturing the world, it's generating it. So how does it actually work? These AI systems are trained on enormous amounts of existing human-made images. We're talking hundreds of millions of photographs, paintings, and illustrations. The AI studies patterns like colors and how light falls on a face. Then when you give it a prompt, it generates something new by predicting what pixels should go where, based on everything it's learned. It's not copying one specific piece, it's drawing on all of them at once. Now critics say, that proves it. The AI isn't creating, it's averaging, it's remixing. It has no intent, no emotion. It doesn't know what heartbreak feels like. It's never watched a sunset and felt small. It's never lost someone. And those experiences, that raw human stuff, that's where real art comes from. That argument has weight. A survey found that 76% of people do not consider AI-generated works to be real art. Most feel that something is missing. They just struggle to name exactly what that something is. But here's where it gets interesting. Because if we say originality requires emotion and lived experience, then we have to ask, is any human artist truly original either? Think about it. Every painter who ever lived learned by studying other painters. Every musician grew up listening to music. Every writer was shaped by the books they read. We are all, in some very real sense, the sum total of everything we've been exposed to. The difference is that humans filter all of that through consciousness, through feeling, through the specific weight of their own particular life. That's the secret ingredient. The machine has the inputs. It doesn't have the filter. But then, and this is the part that's hard to dismiss, what about the output itself? What about the experience of the person standing in front of the work? Approximately 35% of fine art auctions now include AI-created artworks. People are bidding on them, hanging them in their homes, being moved by them. If a piece of music makes you cry, and you later find out an AI wrote it, does it uncry you? The tears were real, the feeling was real. Does the origin of the thing change what it did to you? That's not a rhetorical trick. That's genuinely one of the hardest questions in philosophy of art right now, and there's no clean answer. What we do know is that the most interesting things happening in AI art aren't coming from AI working alone. They're coming from collaboration. Artists like Refik Anadol, Mario Klingemann, and Sugwen Chung have gained institutional recognition and real market traction by using AI as part of their creative practice. Refik Anadol, for example, feeds massive datasets, ocean temperature readings, coral reef data, into AI systems and shapes the output into immersive installations. The AI generates possibilities that no human could manually create. Anadol decides what's beautiful, What's meaningful? What to keep? Is that less valid than a painter choosing which brushstroke to make? The authorship question is genuinely complicated. Tools like DALL-E and Midjourney are revolutionizing visual art, allowing artists to generate prompts, sketches, or fully realized digital works. When a skilled artist spends hours crafting the perfect prompt, adjusting the parameters, selecting, rejecting, refining, how different is that from a photographer choosing the angle, the light, the moment, to press the shutter? The camera doesn't make that choice, but we still call the photographer an artist. There's also the legal mess sitting right underneath all of this. Over 70 copyright infringement lawsuits have been filed against AI companies as of late 2025, with major actions from Disney and Universal. The core argument from human artists is legitimate. These systems were trained on their work, without consent, without payment. The U.S. Court of Appeals affirmed in March 2025 that human authorship is an essential component of a valid copyright claim. So right now, if an AI makes something completely on its own with no human creative input, nobody owns it. It belongs to everyone, or no one, depending on how philosophical you want to get about it. The commercial reality is still running well ahead of the legal and ethical frameworks. The AI art market was valued at around $3.2 billion in 2024 and is projected to reach over $40 billion by 2033. That's not a bubble. That's an entire new industry building itself in real time. And one of the most underrated parts of this story is what AI art does for people who were previously locked out of visual expression. Not everyone can draw. Not everyone has the money for formal art training or the years to develop technical skill. AI tools are changing that. Someone with a vision, a clear emotional idea, can now actually show it to the world without needing a decade of practice first. AI-based art is breaking geographic barriers, empowering artists in regions often sidelined. In places where censorship limits expression, artists use open-source AI tools to encode subversive narratives in abstract visuals. That's not trivial. That's access. That's voice. So where does this go? In the next 5 to 10 years, AI systems will get better at understanding context, at learning individual aesthetic preferences, at generating work that feels more specific and less generic. We'll likely see AI that can respond to emotional cues in real time, art that literally changes based on your mood, your movements, your biometric data. The fusion of AI with virtual and augmented reality is creating immersive experiences, where the viewer becomes part of the art itself, responding to their movements and behavior. And I think the definition of artistic genius is quietly shifting because of all this. For most of human history, genius meant technical mastery, the ability to render a face perfectly. But mastery of execution is no longer the exclusive domain of humans, so what's left? Vision, judgment, taste, the ability to look at 10,000 AI-generated possibilities and know which one matters and why. The ability to ask the right question in the first place. That's not lesser than what came before. It's different. And history is full of moments when different got mistaken for lesser. The most provocative question isn't whether AI can make art. The real question is what happens to us when the thing we thought was most uniquely human turns out to be something we can teach a machine to do. Because art was never really about the object. It was about the conversation between the maker and the viewer. If AI joins that conversation, and it already has, then maybe the revolution isn't in what machines can create. Maybe it's in what they force us to discover about ourselves.